Hello, and welcome to this tutorial video on how to create your session notes. So, when you usually create your session notes, you'll be doing it, most people do it during or after they see a patient. So I'm going to do it as if I have some time beforehand, a few minutes, to get the note started, do a little bit with the patient, and then follow up after they're gone. So I think that's the most ideal. So, before we see the patient, we'll want to maybe just create the session and put the things in we can so that when we see them we'll have to put in less. And you can do this maybe just a minute or two before you see them. So before we see the patient, this is our patient we've done the videos from before. Click New, Session. Okay, so now we have the session note and it defaults to today's date. And then we'll want to put in the start time and end time. Calculates the time, put in the diagnosis. Since we only have one, it automatically put it in, and then we'll select the facility and provider. And then we want to create the session because it's not created yet, so I have to put create to do that. Okay, and then I want to click dietary because the patient filled out the food frequency assessment. And with that survey filled out online, I imported it before I saw them, I can do their dietary analysis. So I can get that all done before I even see them. Click Edit, Insert Food Frequency Assessment. Okay, it inserts in. Perfect. Okay. Because I know my start and stop time, I can do the billing. So I put in the billing. This is the session billing. And click New. This would be a CPT code 97802, which is MNT initial one-on-one, $150 an hour, 4 units. All right. The back arrow again. And there we go. So now we'll just wait here, and then when the patient comes in, we'll see them, talk to them, do introduction. And then if the patient has labs, we'll get that from them and want to enter that in so that we can, see where they're at. And you can do this after you see the patient too. But we'll want to use these labs in our notes so we can make a better decision of where the patient's at. So we'll put in the lab values. Okay. And put these in. All right. So now go back to our session by just clicking on the date here. And we're back. Okay. So before I create my session note and start typing what we're doing, I want to maybe get clinical values for this patient. So we'll talk to them, put them on a scale, figure out their height, what's their weight, 247 pounds. That'll calculate their BMI, 34.5. We'll put in their blood pressure. Okay. And ask them, okay, do you do activity? What is your activity? Well, not much. And we'll put in a little bit of moderate activity 1 time a week for 20 minutes. And then we'll calculate their RMR, total energy expenditure, and we have all that in here. We'll save that. Okay. So then we have all these values. We can start making our notes. So you don't have to put those in, but before you make your notes, but I think it's better if you do. So this is where we create our notes. We want to click Edit to edit it. And since this patient is seen for hyperlipidemia, we'll want to go to the templates and click on that one. And then we have different ones. We have initial visit, follow-up, intervention. This is initial visit. Kind of does the introduction paragraph that we're seeing them for this thing identified by the medical provider. And this is what we do. We do a lifestyle assessment covering these different areas. We can add things if we want specific to this patient, but I won't. And then we put in different assessments we've done. So we have done a few assessments. So we'll go into the clinical here, and we've done weight, BMI, RMR, all these different assessments, and some dietary ones, calories, We've calculated fat percent. And okay, so now we have these different values. We will want to go and create a nutrition diagnosis. Okay, so what's going on with this patient? We'll click the diagnosis. Okay, and this will be basically a PES statement generator. Search diagnoses, and we'll say, okay, well, what's the patient got? We can scroll through them here. We can search for them. I'll search for them here. Obesity, overweight. Okay, as related to, and we have an example right down here what an example of PS statement might be. So the etiology would be poor food choices, as evidenced by the signs and symptoms are a high BMI greater than 30 and high fat percent greater than 35%. Okay, so save that, and that basically just makes a sentence in my notes for nutrition diagnosis. Okay, so then I can do an intervention after that. Okay, what are we find the diagnosis. Now what are we going to do to intervene for this patient? So I can either go here to the ADA's intervention terminologies and select those and search through them, and search by category, search them specifically, click on them and it'll save them here. But I don't want to do that. I have it in my notes. I've already created a note for that of people that with this condition. Then I can modify this note for this specific patient, but this says basically modify their food choices, reduce fat, and increase fiber. With less refinement. Okay? So then after we have the intervention, we're going to do what are we going to monitor and evaluate over time? And we'll click the monitoring evaluation. And I'm going to monitor patients. Definitely his fat percentage because we're doing we said we want to do that for the image and fiber. We could do some cholesterol, total cholesterol, HDL, LDL, things like that. Okay, and we'll monitor their weight and BMI. Save. Now, as it's saving, if this was a follow-up session, it would give me the ones before and the current ones. So, because this is a the first session, it won't give us, the change over time because it's the first one. But if it's a, follow-up session, it will give us the change over time. So, then we want to go into here and we want to do maybe some goals. So I might want to do goals. So I could put this in, highlight this, make it bold up here. Maybe make it font a little bigger. Okay. Alright, unbold that. Go into goals here. Okay, we haven't done goals. So, maybe I want to do goals. So let's save this. And go into goals. Let's put the patient's goals in. Okay, so now we have clinical. And we want to edit and put in calculate. Okay, so they have height of 71. Well, we want a BMI of 28. Calculate 200 pounds. Paste that in. 28. And that's all we need for the clinical goals. We could put in much more, but we don't need to. Go to dietary goals. Edit. So we have about 2,200 caloric intake right now. We're going to lower that to 1,600. Maybe a 25% decrease in fat percent from 55, 12, 7, cholesterol, protein, and then put some carbohydrate. Okay. So then we can calculate their DRIs if we need to, put in their gender, age, range, calculate. Puts that in, and then exchanges based on what we want to have as their goals and put in what they should be eating. So we'll save that. Go back to their session note. Edit. Go down to here. Go down to goals. Okay. Calories, fat percent, protein, carbohydrate percent, fiber, weight, BMI. Okay. If we go back, puts those in. Okay. So these are our goals, and so now we have a goal. So now I want to say, next up would be see patient in 1 week. Okay. We'll click save, and that's our note. We can view all session notes if we want to, but it's the first one, so we don't need to. And we can go back and click print here. We can go back and click print. Print our note out, give it to the doctor. So if you have too many doctors and medications, we can not show them. Otherwise, we just click print. Okay. So this is your sample practice. It'll be here. This is your session note, and it'll display all this information here on the patient and the things in the session. This is all your session notes. You can print it or save it to PDF here. Okay. And I can also make a handout for the patient. So if you got a patient handout, this is going to be the thing I can hand to the patient, and to help them along with the interventions we've wanted for them. So click here, click edit, go down here to, we want more fiber, less fat. Okay. Save that, print it, and come up with a report for the patient we can print out for them and hand to them. Okay. So, here we go. Exit that. Okay. So let's say the patient, now that we're done, we can do the billing for this patient. So if they've entered a copay, if they have insurance, then they can do a copay. So then, we put in payment, new payment, bank card usually, credit card, copay, $15. Create that, puts in a copay. And then if we want to send it to the insurance company for them to pay, just click new, claim. It checks everything to make sure we have everything correct, and if you don't, then it'll tell you what you need, and then it just creates a claim for you. There you go. But it's not created yet. I got to click create, and that's it. And you can print claim or go under search claims, and then send electronically. And I'll have another video on more in-depth claims later. And that's about it. You go back to the session. And if you don't want to send it to the insurance company and the patient's paying out of pocket, you click billing, select it, and then you click super bill. We can generate a super bill. Maybe type something in, put a previous balance if we want, print. This will generate a super bill for the patient and how much they owe. You can print that out or make a PDF and email it. And this is a statement. This is if they have multiple bill items and you want to send that to them in the mail. So that's that. That's my video on how to create a session note. Thank you.